Pump.Fun. It has been around 2.5 weeks since you launched your token via ICO, and my question nowadays is no longer when are we getting the airdrop, how much will the airdrop be, it's simply what have you done with the opportunity? And the fact that I have to sit here and ask this question in itself is terrifying. Because not too long ago, you were one of the innovators, the real innovators in crypto, creating a decentralized home for meme coins to take away the idea of hard liquidity rug pulls and bring something entirely new to the table. And since that day, as documented in my last video, it's been a bit of a bumpy road. But then to launch a token, raise $1 billion, promise an airdrop and reinvigorate the love and the trust in the platform that was once there was a great move. And since then, it's just not been the same. The initial hype was fun and there were a few Pump.Fun runners, but then the token started to dwindle, the buybacks didn't do anything, and we're now at a point where again I'm asking, what have you done with the opportunity? For full transparency, I have no interest in the Pump token. I don't hold any. I never bought any. I'm just a guy that makes YouTube videos about the crypto space and has spent so long on Pump.Fun over the last 12 months that I just feel obligated to talk about watching something you've poured so much time into, so much effort into, just dwindle away because there's a complete lack of innovation. Transparency has just faded into the abyss. There's no longer regular updates through social media, and I get that because of enhanced regulatory requirements, because of the ICO and legal situations. Fine, but you're no longer just responsible for a small startup printing millions of dollars each week on autopilot. You're now responsible for angel investors, you're responsible for the wider community, and funnily enough, the reason that you generate money is the community. And if they then feel distrust, if they don't feel rewarded, if they don't feel you are delivering on promises, they're gonna look elsewhere. And that's exactly what's happening. On Sunday, July 27th, 11 tokens graduated from Pump.Fun. 11. Just look at the mindshare. This is insane. Pump.Fun was once the unquestioned most dominant meme coin platform in all of crypto. It batted off all of the competition without ever needing to raise a finger. And now Bonk has come along, done some things a tad differently, but just unique enough to prompt new users to go there instead. And at this point, it's no longer about the airdrop. Like, I don't really care about when the airdrop is or how much I'm gonna get, as lovely as it would be. It's more about what are you going to do to keep the platform alive. It's no longer reclaiming the #1 spot. It's can you even keep Pump.Fun alive? And your first order of business with $1 billion raised was to acquire a website built on the back end of ChatGPT that ranks the top crypto Twitter KOL's profit and loss. Are we losing our collective minds here? What value does that add for Pump.Fun? If we're talking mergers and acquisitions, okay, I'm a business owner. I've owned businesses and sold businesses. If you're going to buy a new property, the idea is it adds value to the platform. What value does ColdScan bring to Pump.Fun? Other than logging on and going, they just made 400k in 10 minutes. That doesn't do anything for me. That doesn't help my meme coins. It doesn't help my journey or my trading. Oh, this new KOL's got 4 new followers today and he's made $700 on a new launch. Like, what are we doing? That has no way to ever impact Pump.Fun. The only way that would ever scratch the surface on being a useful tool is if they A, started selling ad space on it, B, used it to sell ad space for community tokens, to promote new launches, to have leaderboards of new coins and that kind of thing, therefore completely disregarding what ColdScan in itself once was, and they could have built that themselves for a much lesser cost. Or C, to find a way to implement that into Pump.Fun directly, and I don't know, just have some sort of live timing screen like an F1 qualifying session where you can just see who the top traders are in real time. That'd be cool. Wouldn't do much for me, but it'd be cool. And that's my whole point, is that what have they done with this $1 billion? They have more cash on hand than most public companies, more cash on hand than certainly any of their competitors, and they go out and acquire ColdScan and then have a conversation with ThreadGuy about potentially luring streamers in to stream directly on their platform.
On bringing streamers over to the platform. I mean, you guys have over $1 billion. Is it at all in the cards for Pump.Fun to spend a lot of money buying a non-crypto native streamer to come over and stream on Pump.Fun?
I think that's definitely on the cards, right? But it needs to make sense. I think it needs to fit in within the ecosystem and I guess like the product that we've built, right?
So let's just stop there for a minute, okay? Hypothetically, pick any of your favorite streamers. We're talking the Aiden Rosses, the Kai Cenats of the world. Let's say they get paid a big bag to come and stream directly on Pump.Fun. What do you think is going to happen? Because it's not like they're just going to appear out of thin air on a Pump.Fun stream on a coin sat at 0 market cap and then it bonds and it's a fair launch. You know it's going to be hard bundled. You know it's going to be mass sniped. You know someone's going to have the information. And it will end up like every celebrity rug ever. Live streams are cool. They're a novel feature, but they're no longer the needle mover they were because of the forced regulatory requirements that simply had to be implemented for that feature to even survive. There are 4, maybe 5 big streamers on the Pump.Fun platform. And if you just look at the coins and the way it's going, you just have to ask yourself, if you're just finding a streamer now and you buy into these coins, is it even worth your time? And the answer most likely is probably not, unless you trade with extreme caution and don't mind being down quite a lot quite early. There is so much that Pump.Fun could do, that they might be doing in fairness. It's early to tell, and of course again, transparency now is no longer a thing because there are so many requirements and loopholes to jump through before they can announce anything. But the CTO announcement, okay, that's great for the 11 coins that get launched. Like, they need to just really go back to their roots and innovate. Because, as I said in my last video, have they actually really innovated in the last year whatsoever outside of the live stream feature and then creative revenue sharing? Bonk had Hackathon, which promoted new viable tech projects that would actually be long term. Boop's Temple of Moon offered a distribution of fees depending on which coin entered had the highest market cap and would give that to all of the holders. Those are innovations. Those are reasons to come to Pump.Fun. What reason does a new meme coin trader today on July 28th have to log on to Pump.Fun for the first time? None. Because they can get better incentives from Bonk. All the volume is on Bonk right now. And if you're simply one of the sheep, you're going to follow the herd. If you're trying to be a wolf, you need at least some meat to slaughter. And there is certainly none of it on Pump.Fun right now. And I just think it might have been lost in the heat of the moment where it was too much, it was too soon. And the idea of giving an airdrop that early they thought would nuke the token. But that was their one real chance to reclaim mindshare at least. It wouldn't promote any growth on the platform. But when the ICO first launched at the $4 billion valuation, it was objectively a good buy. Like, for a company that's making $700 million a year, is showcasing growth, that's a good spot to be in. Now the revenues are dipping because the community that gives them those fees are now disappearing to other platforms. Where is the product? Pump.Fun was once a moat company. It's now not. It is just a meme coin launchpad in a sea that is being drowned out by bonk runners because bonk continue to innovate, continue to do things differently. Now again, the danger with these videos is they could just bring out a new feature tomorrow, although I do think that's highly unlikely. But they have to do something. And for it, they could do anything from new dev mechanics. Like, imagine being able to launch a coin where you could promote an ETF style format and holders get rewarded a set amount depending on their holding of a bucket of coins. Like the S&P 500, but for Fartcoin and Chillhouse and Michi or whatever. You could build your own ETFs and launch them. That's new, that's different, it would require innovation and some funding, which you have at your disposal. I thought that up on the spot. This is a team that is now being paid millions of dollars. They should be able to think bigger, better, brighter, quicker than a random YouTuber with a silly haircut and a goofy tooth, alright? They should be on top of this. They should be trying to provide value for their investors. And again, they've left the airdrop so late now that when it does get implemented, it will inevitably nuke the token. Buybacks aren't scratching the surface. There are no new features outside of CTO fees and the acquiring of Coalscan. Meme coins as we knew them are no longer viable, okay? You need incentives. Bonk have done a good job with just listening to the community, making changes, and even if they're subtle, just supporting the community. Pump.Fun has always been about supporting the elite few. How many times have they interacted with the likes of Orangey, with these top Twitter KOLs, and promoted the big runners of the day? There aren't really many opportunities for the guys that are raiding hard with these new tokens to actually divert attention. The hope was for many that the ICO will kind of take the greed, in quotation marks, the alleged greed, out of the equation and give something back to the users and hopefully enhance the platform in the long term. All we've seen is the acquisition of a pretty underwhelming website, a delayed airdrop, and a focus on live streaming, which I just don't think is going to ever provide that much value unless, again, you can innovate it and provide incentives to live stream coin holders. Not necessarily the live streamers themselves, they're already getting plenty, as we can see from your allocation. Something to actually keep the audience there, rather than they could just watch a streamer on Kick and donate $5. They need to have a sense of belonging, a sense of wanting to be there, and a sense of commitment that this coin will grow because they've invested in a streamer. And if that's not there, without it, live streaming as a whole, I just can't see being sustainable. This is my letter to Pump.Fun, okay? You've dug yourself a deep hole, and maybe it's inadvertent. Maybe you wanted to do the airdrop sooner and it was a legal thing. Maybe you have a lot in the pipeline. Maybe there are so many changes it will revolutionize everything once again. But on the off chance it's not, this is no longer about you. This is no longer about making $700 million in a year. This is no longer about a small startup. This is about the investors who've just risen you $1 billion. This is about the wider community who not only use your platform and mostly lose money, but have taken a chance on your coin, on your belief, on your product, and that is now failing too. The platform is now driving down in value. There is no revenue fees being generated compared to what we saw a few weeks ago. Fix it. Find a way to innovate. Find a way to bring something new to the trenches. Find a way to bring back the love for the platform that you once had when you made it. And you might still do, but it doesn't show anymore. And I think that's what's turning a lot of people off and helping them just transition easily to Bonk. I still believe in Pump.Fun and what it can be. I believe that with the right people, with the right decisions, with the right features to keep meme coins fresh and entertaining, it could be something special. But until you take a step back, you look at the bigger picture, and you realize that even to sustain your current levels of revenue fees, there has to be innovation. This isn't just an autopilot. And now with so much more money involved, there's even more pressure to do so. It's just going to be a long, dark, twisting road. So I hope this falls on the right ears, and I would love to know what you think down in the comments of what Pump should implement. Is Pump.Fun over? Have you started using Bonk? And more importantly, what's your long-term hopes for the once great platform? Until next time, I'll see you in the trenches.